Hello there, my name's Errol Lawson and I want to thank you for coming to see what makes the great great. This talk was given to a group of students to motivate and inspire them to be the best that they can be. Sit back and relax as you find out what makes the great great. My name's Errol Lawson and I'm a published author. My book is called From the Postcode to the Globe. It was released just over a year ago. I'm a motivational speaker, so I get to go around schools and speak to young people at different times in their school career, inspiring them and motivating them. I'm also a leadership coach, and so our company, we go and we train teachers, leaders, managers, students, entrepreneurs, helping them to build their leadership capacity and capability. I'm a minister, so I actually am a minister leader in a church over in town in Birmingham, city centre there. Done that for a few years. I really enjoy that part of my life as well. I'm a entrepreneur. My company, Emerge Leadership, which I co-founded with my business partner, Dr. Naomi Ajipong here, is based here in the UK and also in Ghana, in Africa. And we basically go around and we inspire, we train, we equip young leaders to be the future leaders of our nations, I guess. And we really are having a lot of fun doing that. It's really exciting stuff, great privilege to do. So yeah, we're having a lot of fun doing what we do, and it's great fun to do what we do. But I have to kind of say at this stage that it's not always been that way for me. I haven't always been doing the things that you see listed here. In fact, when I was younger, at your age, my life was very, very different. I remember distinctly at age 11 when my parents divorced, deciding to myself that, you know what, I'm going to be bad, I'm going to do my own thing, no one's going to stop me from doing my own thing now, you know. And I did just that. Just didn't handle the divorce thing very well. At age 13, I started smoking weed and selling weed in school. And that's what, year 8, you know, and things were going off the rails for me at that time, emotionally, mentally, I weren't there. Now, my dad, who I'm really close to, and I certainly was closer to before the divorce, I say, made some choices and then he wasn't around. He was absent for most of my teenage years. And so all through my teenage years, I had no father figure there, no role model, no one to say, you know, son, here's how you tie your ties, son, or son, here's how you shave, or here's how you talk to the ladies, son, how you do, just how you do man stuff, you know? No one there to show me how to do that. And so instead, I aspired to be like the guys out there on the street, on the road, with selling drugs, chasing girls, living that lifestyle. And that's all I knew because of my environment at the time. And so that's what I did. At age 16, I came home one day at age 16. My mum, who's an amazing woman, we've got a great relationship now. I came home and she said, son, listen, enough is enough. This was not long after I'd been at home one morning, getting ready for school, put my school uniform on and stuff, and there's a knock at the front door. It's the police again. They take me away. My younger brother and sister are there watching it all unfold as I'm arrested again. He says, you know, son, enough is enough, man. The police come to the house for you far too often. You're bringing girls to the house, smoking weed in the house. You know, you're gonna have to move out. Find your own way, do your own thing. So at age 16, I became homeless. And probably one of the hardest times of my life. Between the age of 16 and 19, I lived in about 12 different places. I lived in a hostel, and family and friends, and moved around a whole lot, trying to find my way through life, understand what life meant, and it was crazy. And everyone that probably knew me at the time thought, you know what, isn't it end up dead or in jail or in a mental institution? That's where I was going, literally, like, my life was so far off the rails. And so, thankfully, I guess, around age 19, 20, 21, some things happened that saw my life begin to turn around. My life began to change around drastically. I mean, when I say drastically, you got to understand that, you know, I was so far gone. I was at my old school a few weeks ago, speaking, giving a similar talk to this and saying to a room full of like 500 students and all the teachers and stuff in there, and they're watching me delivering this talk and thinking, how on earth is Errol Lawson, like, when he was here, he was selling this, doing that, and now he's doing all these things. How is it conceivable that he's done that? And I have to thank God ultimately, to be honest with you, because I was so far the other way. But now my life has drastically turned around. I now host a TV show, radio show. So we've got company here in the UK, also in Ghana, and we're growing more and more schools around the UK. It's been amazing to see what's been happening. And so I want to encourage you guys today. I want to inspire you. I want to share some of the lessons learned, because my hope is that really, some of you here are really bright. Maybe you're at A's. I want to push you to think about going for those A stars. Maybe you're at B's and C's. I want to push you, go for those B's and A's. Maybe you've got a dream or aspiration right now in your life to be something or do something. I want to encourage you to expand that vision even bigger and even wider and even further. It's possible. My hope is that you'll see me, hear me telling my story and think, you know what? If he's doing that, then man, I can do anything from where he's come from. You've got a better starting point. Does that make sense? That's my hope today for you guys. I want to share with you a few principles, a few lessons that I've learned and applied to my life that I hope if you apply to your life will help you go that little bit further, push you that little bit further. The first one is this. I'm going to give you 6 people and 6 principles. And at the end, I'll give you a chance to ask some questions about everything I've said as well, all right? So the first person is this gentleman here. His name's George Washington Carver. And the lesson is to take responsibility. Now, about George Washington Carver, he was born in the 1860s, born to a slave family, lived on a slave plantation. And one night, some bandits came and they tried to kidnap George and his family from off of their slave plantation. Mr. Carver, who, if you were a slave, of course, you had the surname of your slave master. So he's called George Washington Carver because that was his master's surname. Mr. Carver went out on a recapture mission with some of his guys to get George back. They managed to save George and his younger brother, his family, the rest of his mum, dad, everyone else was never to be seen again. Now, if I'm George Washington Carver at that time, I've probably got every reason to think that my life is going nowhere. I could make a million excuses for why I don't have to do anything. I can just throw my life away and say, forget life. My parents are dead. I'm never going to see them again. My siblings, I'll never see them again. I'm in these chains every day, hand and feet. I can't go and start a business. I can't go and buy some land or buy a property. I've got nothing going for me. Forget life. And if I'm honest, when I was your age, that was my mindset, my mentality. I blamed everybody else for everything in my life. I say, Dad, it's your fault. Dad, if you were here with me where you should be as my father, then, I wouldn't be so bad. I wouldn't be out there selling drugs and doing all this stuff out there in gangs. I wouldn't do it. If you were here, Dad, it's your fault. I say, Mom, it's your fault. Mom, I'm blaming you because, Mom, you're always on my case. You never just you nag. I've got to make money. I've got to do stuff, Mom. Leave me to it. Mom, it's her fault because she's always in my ears. I say it's the police's fault. The police don't like black boys. They're always stopping us, always searching us. They don't like us. I blame the police. Or the system. Or Illuminati. Or something. I blamed everybody else for the condition my life was in. Except myself. Except me. Unless something almost magical happens when we decide to take 100% responsibility for our lives. Not 98%, not 99%, but 100% responsibility. Now, Mr. Carver here could have made every excuse in the world, but rather than blame and make excuses, he chose to create. And instead he found 300 different purposes or uses for a peanut. Random, I know, right? A peanut. I'm talking like facial cream, hair oil, cocoa butter, peanut butter, you name it. He found 300 uses for a peanut, and in doing so became a world-famous scientist. World-famous, changed the world. From where he started, changed the world. He's now a world-famous scientist. There's the George Washington Carver Bridge in America, a George Washington Carver University in America, named after this guy. From where he started till now, we managed to overcome that. So I'm like, man, if he can do that, what can we do? When you choose to say to yourself, you know what, if it's meant to be, it's up to me. I ain't going to blame Mom, I ain't going to blame Dad, I ain't going to blame Sir or Miss or no one else for the grades I get for my life right now. It's up to me, I can do this. You become powerful in that moment. And I did that for myself, and everything began to change. Everything changed. I took responsibility. I took responsibility. I remember the time when I had a record label at this time, at this juncture in my life, and I was managing these 4 girls called Dark Angels. Now, I'm still a bit rough around the edges at this time, still smoking weed and girls and that, but I've got a record company. And I've got these 4 girls who are great singers, and they're being managed by my company, and I've got a guy called Bernard who's a vocal trainer who comes and does a vocal training with them. And then one day, Bernard comes in and goes, Errol, there's something about you, Errol, he says. I'm like, what do you mean? Errol, listen, I believe in you, man. You need to read this book, he says. And the book is called What Makes the Great Great. I said, I don't read books, man. I'm a rude boy. I ain't got time for books, man. He said, Errol, read the book. I said, all right, I read it. I took the book, and I actually couldn't put this book down. I read it from cover to cover. I literally read it on the bus, on the train. I'd be walking down the road, literally bumping into lampposts, like so distracted by this book. I sent it to my dad in Jamaica and to my friends who were in prison at the time. I was like, you have to read this book. And everything in that book, it began to change my thinking, my mindset, my attitude. I started to take responsibility. I changed from that blaming mindset to actually, I can do this mindset. And every book referenced in that book, I went and got those books and read those books. Every book referenced in those books, I went and got those books. And my library now is pretty extensive, all starting from one book. I decided to take responsibility. When I did that, guys, everything changed. I want to encourage you. Decide now. It doesn't matter what anyone else says about you or thinks of you or what resources you have or where you live or who your parents are. You can be anything you want to be if you so choose. The second lesson, and probably the biggest of them, possibly contender for the biggest one, hard work and dedication. Important because at your age, I didn't know about hard work and dedication. I knew about cheating, copying, getting mates' homework, or, just dedicated to bad stuff. Serena Williams is the #1 tennis player in the world, female ever. Won series of trophies and awards. But the powerful thing is that when she was a kid, her and her older sister Venus, with her dad, would every single day go down the tennis court and they'd practice. Every single day. Put those hours in. Put that time in. Put those hours in. Put that time in. Forehands, backhands, smashes, lobs, volleys. Practicing and practicing and practicing until eventually they broke through. Now there's a guy called Malcolm Gladwell who wrote a book called The Tipping Point. And in his book he talks about this thing called the 10,000 hour rule. The 10,000 hour rule says this. It says that if I deliberately practice in any field of endeavor for 10,000 hours, or the equivalent of 10 years, I then become a genius in that area. I reach what's called a tipping point, and I tip over from average into genius, 10,000 hours. And so he gives examples of people like Mozart, Beethoven, Beckham even, famous people you can think of, Serena Williams, the Tiger Woodses of this world, Lionel Messi's, and it can chart for you how they put 10,000 hours of deliberate practice into their craft before at one point tipping over into greatness and becoming a genius. Who's heard of Bill Gates? All of you, right? Okay, so Bill Gates is famous for, obviously, Microsoft. Now, the story goes that Bill Gates, at age 13, when he lived in America, there were no computers as we know them today anywhere. None anywhere. But at age 13, when there were no computers anywhere, there were these big, huge ones called mainframes and some really big ones, right? The floppy disks were like the size of an A4 sheet of paper. But where he lived in his state in New York, his parents happened to have access to a computer that was in their local library. It's like a 1 in a million chance for you to have access to a computer anywhere in the world. Not even professors had access to computers. But Bill Gates' parents had connections in the local library. They happened to have a computer in that library. And so while Bill's mates are out chasing girls and playing softball and doing stuff that kids do, Bill's in that library every day on that computer, practicing how you program this computer, how do you write language, and all that kind of stuff. He's getting into the computer every single day, practicing, putting his 10,000 hours in. He gets to college, passes through college, goes to university, Harvard, and gets there and realizes that actually what they're teaching me here, I can do this stuff. I've been doing this long enough. Not even his professors have that kind of access that he had. I can do this stuff, and he drops out. He leaves by choice. Starts his first company, doesn't go too well, the first one doesn't. But then starts Microsoft. And one day he's in his office, looking out of his window, and says, I know what? Windows. That didn't really happen. That's my part of the story. All right. But obviously he started Windows, okay? And his vision was to have a computer in every household in the world. It's pretty much done that. All right, now, the 10,000 hour rule. Here's the thing. Anyone can apply this rule. A guy in Germany heard about this 10,000 hour rule and decided to himself, you know what? I'm going to put this thing to the test. And he did a bit of an experiment. He took it to a whole different level. He put an advert in the local newspaper. And in the advert, in the dating section, he said this. It's a true story. I'm looking for a woman that will marry me, who will conduct an experiment with me. I want to see if we can have children, and those children will become geniuses. As you can expect, not. A lady sees the advert, responds to the advert, says, okay then, I'm up for it. I'll do it with you. They actually get together, they hook up, they get married, they consummate their marriage, they have children. Now, this guy's desire is to be, he's passionate about chess, right? So he says that we want to make our kids to be chess champions. And so, they have kids. They make these miniature chess sets for them. As soon as they're able to play or pick up the pieces, they're playing with these pieces, these toys. Every single day they come home from school, they're playing with these pieces. They grow and they grow, and as they grow, they begin to enter chess competitions. It gets to a place where they're like, Dad, can we play chess? I want to play chess. They love the game so much. They can't wait to get around it and start playing it. They enter competitions and they win competitions. And the story goes, they actually become international chess champions. Number 1 and number 3 in the world. They beat the likes of Garry Kasparov, great chess masters. They beat computers and stuff. It's a true story. Now, I know those are examples of really pushy parents, right? No one wants parents like that. But the point is this. If you have a brain in your head that is functioning as it should, you can apply that same principle to your life right now. Maybe you're saying, you know what? I'm getting a D in a particular, or a C in a subject, and I need to be in an A. I need to get some deliberate practice in. I need to get some people around me. But here's the thing. Another distinction to make, first of all. He says 10,000 hours of deliberate practice. Not just practice, but deliberate practice. Practice will be this. Let's say in 10 years' time, I want to be a world-class footballer. So I'm going to get my 10,000 hours or 10 years of practicing. So I get a football, and I go home, and I kick the ball against the wall. I'm doing that every day. I'm practicing, all right? But it's not deliberate practice. Deliberate practice says this. It says that while I'm practicing, I'm doing my against the wall, I've got somebody standing here with me who's either a coach, a professional player, somebody certainly better than I am, who's watching me. And as I'm doing it, he's saying, Errol, straighten your back out. Errol, get your arms up. Errol, twist your legs, your hips more, from your hips. And while I'm doing it, I'm getting the feedback. And so every time I practice, because of the feedback, I'm getting better and better and better, and deliberate practice. Are you with me? There's a distinction. So 10,000 hours of deliberate practice. Now for you, that might be in revision. It might be that you have a study group of guys. Rather than do it on your own, you get a few friends together and say, you know what, let's be a group together and challenge each other and feed back to each other. So we're growing, we're getting better. Or saying to sir or miss or somebody, hey, I'm struggling in this particular area or in this topic. Can I get some feedback, please, so I can improve? So 10,000 hours of deliberate practice in any area can bring you to that place of genius and excellence. That's where the hard work and dedication comes in. That's why Serena Williams says, luck has nothing to do with it, because I've spent many, many hours, countless hours on the court, working for my one moment in time, not knowing when it will come. 10,000 hours. And then she crossed that line, it came. Mo Farah says it another way. He says, don't dream of winning, train for it. Don't dream of being successful. Don't dream of being that business person or that doctor or solicitor or whatever it is you're dreaming of being. Don't dream of being it. Train for it. Put the time in now. Push yourself that extra level further. You can do it. You can do it. So hard work and dedication. The next lesson is to set goals. Goal setting is vital. Anyone who's ever achieved anything in life has set goals for themselves. Goals give your life a sense of purpose and direction and focus. And not having goals in life is like a plane without coordinates going to a destination and without the directions and actually just flying around in the sky and going around in circles until it runs out of fuel and crashes into the sea and ends up nowhere without clear directions, coordinates. If you aim at nothing in life, you're sure to hit it. John F. Kennedy is the man here, who the example we're using. He's a former American president in 1963. He was sadly assassinated because he had values and beliefs that were contrary to the society or the beliefs the society held in the time that he was around. But he said that efforts and courage are not enough without purpose and direction. Goals. You see, one young man at age 11 in primary school said to his PE teacher, he said, "Sir, when I grow up, sir, I want to achieve 3 things." He said, "Sir, I want to play for Man United, I want to captain England, and I want to marry a pop star." Who do you reckon that was? Yeah, well done. David Beckham. Those are goals that he set in primary school with his primary school teacher. He said, "Sir, I want to play for Man U, captain England, and marry a pop star." Not when he was old, not when he was 16, not when he was 15, not when he was 25 or 30 or 40. Those are goals that he set at age 11. Achieved all 3 of them. The point I'm making is this. The time to start setting goals for your lives is not when you're old and wrinkly and grey-haired and kids running around your feet asking for pocket money. Time to start setting goals is not when you're doing your degree or you're in your career flow. It's not then. The time to start sitting down and thinking and setting those goals is right now, as soon as you possibly can. I mean, I wish, if nothing else, when I was your age, someone came to my school and said, "Errol, set goals, man. This is how you do it," and taught me through it. I wish, I really do. You got to set goals now. Ask yourself, where do you want to be in 5 years' time, in 10 years' time? What kind of girls do you want to marry? How much money do you want to earn per hour or per week or per month or per year? What kind of job do you want? Where are you going to live? What kind of house? What kind of car do you want to drive? Who do you want to help? Who do you want to serve? How much money do you want to give to charity when you get to that age? You got to decide from now. Write those goals down. Get them on paper. And start working towards them from now, not when you're old. It's too late. Have something in life to aim at. All right? So the lesson here is set goals. The effort and courage are not enough without purpose and direction. Effort and courage are essential. They're vital. David Beckham, case in point, went to Man United and they said, "David, sorry, mate, you're too small for the club." He went away and he practiced and he trained and he worked hard at it and came back, and a few years later, I think he was 14, he came back and they signed him up, and of course the rest is history. It takes effort, it takes courage. But you need to have that sense of purpose and direction. All right, so set goals. Write them down, put them on paper. What do I want to be, what do I want to do? Our next person is Usain Bolt. Great guy. And the lesson is get on well with people. We know Usain for a whole lot of different things. We know him for most prominently for his pose. When he finishes his race and he wins that race, he's like, "Yeah, man, I'm the man." We know him as well for his confidence at the beginning of his races when he's in the blocks and the rest of the guys are there and they're kind of shaking, all nervous and licking their lips in trepidation. But he's there like, "I'm ready, man. It's my stage." He's waving to the fans. He's smiling for photos and he's doing his thing. Mr. Confident. Really confident guy. But he's also known really well for getting on well with people. Just being friendly, being nice. And guys, if you're going to reach your peak of success in life, you got to learn how to get on well with people. At your age, I was Mr. Screwface. I was like, "Yo, yeah, what you saying? Yeah, what? Yeah, what?" I was so serious all the time. Like, that was my face. My face was imprinted with that look everywhere I went. But I learned very quickly that if I'm going to achieve anything in life, be anyone in life, do anything significant in life, I had to learn how to get on well with folk. Just to be able to be friendly, be nice to people who are not in my circle, to people who I don't normally talk to or hang around, people who are not of my culture or faith or background or listen to my kind of music or eat my kind of food or who are different, or just different people. If I'm going to achieve anything significant, then it's not put me being someone who's kind of in my corner saying, yes, this is how I do things and this is how it should always be and this is all it's going to be and this is it. Nah, mate. You got to shake that off. You got to step outside your comfort zone and actually what you're familiar with. If you always hang around with black guys, hang around with some Asian or some white guys. If you're hanging around with white guys, hang around with some black guys, some Asian guys, some Polish, some Romanians, some whatever. Get out of your circle. Increase your circle of your comfort zone. It takes courage to do that. It takes courage. I know it takes courage to do that. It challenges your stereotypes. It challenges your judgments. It challenges what you think about other people, what your parents have told you at home around a dinner table about other people. Well, if you're going to go anywhere in life, then you're going to step outside of that. So you know what? I'm going to accept people for who they are. I'm going to respect them for who they are. I'm going to value them and love them for who they are. I'm going to reach out to them and have the privilege that of experiencing the richness of relationship with people who are different from you. You got to get on well with people. Usain Bolt said, manners is the key thing. Say, for instance, when you're growing up and you're walking down the street, you got to tell everybody good morning. Everybody. You can't pass one person by. I love that. If you're going to do that, guys, you're going to be successful in life for real. Challenge yourself, your stereotypes, your judgments. Break past the norm and reach out to some people you wouldn't normally speak to. Learn to be nice. Let me add to that. Employers today, yes, employers want guys just like you who are really smart, you're qualified, you got all the grades and everything else. They want that, of course they do, it's important. But I would argue that even more than that, they want people who are able to work well as part of a team, who are friendly, who are just team players, who are likable, who are sociable, who can, be that glue sometimes. They're not going to be over there in their corner ignoring everybody else, but actually can be a part of a team and help the organization to grow. They want that, so learn that now. It will set you further in life. Our next person is Barack Obama, who 20 years ago, people said it was impossible for a black man to be in the White House, the most powerful man in the world, they say. Impossible, unthinkable, it's unbelievable. However, because of his persistence and determination, he broke through that glass ceiling that there was and has now, in doing so, made it possible for anyone, anywhere, to achieve anything they set their mind to. It's made it an open playing field. Anyone can do it now. So who knows, even right now, you could be sat next to somebody who's a future president or prime minister, I should say, in the UK. Who knows? Stranger things have happened. It's possible, but only because of his persistence. He says, when folks are hitting you over the head, you can't stop marching. Even when they're turning their hoses on you, you can't stop. When friends turn their back on you and switch on you, when people say stuff bad about you, when people die around you, family, friends, loved ones, people disappear out of your life, teachers say stuff about you, you cannot stop. Persistence is a mindset, it's an attitude, it's a focus. It says, you know what? No matter how hard life gets or bad it gets, I'm not going to quit. I'm not going to give up. I'm going to keep moving. I'm going to keep persevering. I'm going to make this happen some way, somehow. I'm coming through this. I'm not going to quit. You've got to be persistent. If you're going to be the best that you can be, you might be doing great now, but life happens to all of us. It's when those things happen, you have that mindset to say, you know what? I'm not quitting, man. I'm not giving up. I'm going all the way. And he kind of personifies that through his achievement of being the President of the United States of America. Our last person is Nelson Mandela. The lesson is be passionate. Probably for me, one of the most passionate men that have ever lived on the planet. That's my opinion. And I say that because he was passionate about equality, about equal opportunity, about freedom for all, about just generally the freedom of mankind to be, to do, to go wherever. And because of his passion for his cause, he was thrown in jail. That's how passionate he was. He was willing to die for his cause. And for 27 years, he was confined in a box. A prison was like a box. Not like a prison here in the UK where you've got Sky Sports and you've got, TVs and phones in your cell. You've got showers in your cell and all that kind of stuff. This was a box, a concrete box, probably as big as this space here. And there's no mattress in there. And for 27 years, he's confined in this small space because of his passion. And in his book, Long Walk to Freedom, he speaks about what he did in that cell. And every day, he said he got up in the morning and he jogged on the spot. Every day, jogged on the spot. Did press-ups in his cell every day. Because of his passion, still believing for justice to be done. And his passion got him in jail for 27 years. And for that 27 years, he came out 27 years later to then become the president of the very country that put him in prison. How amazing is that? His mind was so sharp, still had the energy, the focus, the agility of mind to step into the presidential office and lead his nation through change. That's unbelievable. 27 years. That's like double your lifetime almost, you know? Passion. If I was to say to you guys, I've got a plank of wood, right? Standard size plank of wood, decent length, decent thickness, about as wall to wall in length here. And I'll give each of you £20 to walk along that plank of wood. Just to walk along it. No strings attached, 20 quid each. Who go? Free money. Free money, man. Like 20 quid, right? Everybody, right? It's free money. If I said though that we're now standing on this roof, the plank of wood now, is stretched across 2 rooftops, all right? 2 skyscraper buildings. We're on this rooftop, the plank goes across to that rooftop over there. Who go? 20 quid. Any daredevils? No? Well, what if I said that this building now, right? Okay, we're on this rooftop. The building over there is now on fire. It's burning down. Trapped inside that building are our nearest and dearest loved ones. We're the only hope of their survival and rescue. You can't tweet them, text them, phone them, nothing. You got to go and get them. Who's going to go? Everybody. Here's a point. In that moment of decision, when you raise your hand, you're saying, you know what, forget the flames. I ain't scared of that. You're saying, forget the danger. I don't even see that. Nothing's going to stop me. I'm going across there. One way or the other, I'm getting my family out of there. That same feeling that you feel in that moment, that same passion, that same emotion is what you have to attach to your goals and your dreams in life. When you attach that emotion to your goals in life, you become unbreakable. You become almost indestructible. Nothing can stop you. Nothing will ever get in your way when you have that level of passion about your goals and dreams in life. You've got to get passionate. Find anything, a passion, something to get passionate about. If it's music or sport or law or medicine, or get passionate about something. And that passion will get you across the line when you feel like quitting, feel like giving up. It makes all the difference. All the difference.